everyone, this is Prini and welcome to another session with me. The recipe that I am sharing with you today is a spinach sunflower bread. It is a very interesting recipe, it's very healthy and it's so pretty. So let's get over to the ingredients so that we can get started. We'll be needing some all-purpose flour, some vegetable oil, some salt, some dry active yeast, little bit of sugar, some warm water which is at a temperature of 45 degrees Celsius or 110 degrees Fahrenheit, some minced garlic, some oregano, some black pepper, some ricotta cheese, some boiled spinach which I have just boiled with a little bit of salt, and some mozzarella cheese. So let's get started with the procedure. Now first things first, we'll prepare the yeast for rising and I'll just take a spoonful of sugar because it acts as the food for the yeast, and then I'll be adding my packet of yeast which contains 2 to 2.5 teaspoons of yeast, dry active yeast. So I'll just add my yeast and I'll just keep it aside till it rises, and it will take around 5 minutes or so. Now proceeding with the dough, I'll just add a teaspoon of salt to my all-purpose flour, a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I'll add just a teaspoon of minced garlic also because I like that garlic flavor in the base. I'll give it a good stir. And now my yeast seems to have activated because I can see that foamy and frothy thing on the top, and that's when I know that my yeast is activated and I can smell it too. So I'll add this mixture in my dough, every bit of this mixture, and I'll mix it thoroughly. I'll use my hands now and knead it into a soft dough, and I'll show you when it's ready. Now I have been kneading my dough for 5 to 7 minutes and it has become very smooth and soft. As you can see that if I pinch it, it springs back. So this is what I want at this moment. Now I will just form this into a ball. And I will dump this into a bowl with some vegetable oil. And I'll brush this with some extra oil so that it does not form any bad skin on it. And I'll keep this covered in some warm place for around 1.5 to 2 hours or until it's doubled in volume. And the best place where I keep it in is a microwave or an oven with them switched off, of course. So I'll meet you when it's done. I'll be preparing the filling for the spinach bread now. I've taken the boiled and chopped spinach and I've drained the excess water out of it. Now I'll add my mozzarella cheese to this and my ricotta cheese. Ricotta cheese provides a very good texture to this filling. I add the seasonings also. A bit of salt, not too much because the cheese has also high amount of salt in it. Some dried oregano. A bit of black pepper. And I'll mix this well. Now this is done. I'll keep this aside. My dough was resting for an hour and a half and it is nicely doubled. It looks so good. So I'll just pop it on my countertop and I'll flatten it. Punch out the air and divide this into 2 because for this recipe I'm using just half. But don't get confused, I'll post the recipe accordingly only. So I'll just divide this into 2. And I'll be working with this half. Now for this spinach bread, we'll be needing 2 circles. So I'll further be dividing this into two. Now I'll roll out a circle around 9 inch in size and I'll show you when it's done. This is done approximately. Now I'll use a plate and cut out an accurate, perfectly round circle. Now this is a perfectly round circle. I will transfer this to a parchment paper and I will carry on with my next exactly same way and I'll show you when it's done. Now I've got both my circles ready. Now I'll spread my filling onto the first one, some in the center and some in the sides, just like a donut shape. Now this is done. I'll take my second circle now and I will place this on the top. And I will pinch from the sides. This is done. Now I'll take a glass and place it in the center. Now I will cut into quarters, like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock accurately. I remove the glass now. Again cut it into halves. I'll divide these into 3 now, each piece into 3. Now I will take one strand and just twist it. Similarly, this is done. Doesn't it look like a sunflower only? So I will just keep it covered in some warm place for 30 minutes or so that it could plump a little more before keeping it in the oven. So I'll meet you after that. This was resting for half an hour and I have just brushed it with some butter so that it gets a good golden color. Now for a little more sunflower effect, I will take some oregano and I will sprinkle this in the center. Now I will keep this in the oven, which is preheated at 350 Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes, but keep an eye on it. It shouldn't go dark brown in color. This baked for 30 minutes and look at this beauty. Doesn't it actually look like a actual sunflower? At least it does to me. Now without wasting more time, I will take a bite and I'll tell you how's it. See, can you see the softness? This is very soft. This is very delightful. The softness of the bread, the flavor of spinach, and a creamy texture of the cheese. This makes it a very good combination. So do try this recipe and I hope you had a good time with me. And this is me, Prini, signing off for now, and we'll meet next time.